We know what the Witness is, an entire species morphed into one being. That in itself is pretty frightening, but recent developments have pointed us towards other times this has happened or almost happened. Lakshmi and the Veil, Calus, the Lunar Pyramid, and the Glykon Scorn. Today we are going to discuss this overall hive mind or gestalt consciousness thing going on here in Destiny. Why have characters adopted it? And what does it mean about the mind and consciousness when it comes to the final shape? Welcome Guardians, let's dive right in. A hive mind or gestalt consciousness. Hive mind definitions are this: a notional entity consisting of a large number of people who share their knowledge or opinions with one another, regarded as producing either uncritical conformity or collective intelligence. In science fiction, a unified consciousness or intelligence formed by a number of alien individuals, the resulting consciousness typically exerting control over its constituent members. Gestalt consciousness is basically the same, in which multiple minds or consciousness are linked into a single collective consciousness or intelligence. And the definition of Gestalt, an organized whole that is perceived as more than the sum of its parts. The big bad enemy of the Light and Dark saga is the prime example of both of these words. This species sought meaning and structure, and so using the Veil they combined themselves with darkness into one being. Now that cutscene told us they willingly combined themselves, but a recent statement by someone on the narrative team mentioned them being forced. So not sure if that was a little mistake or we have more to learn about the Witness's species, like maybe a select person or a select few had control over the situation and forced others to combine. From the TWID on July 27th, they said this: "We've even seen some keen-eyed players noticing similarities between what Maya attempts with the Veil to what the Witness did in sacrificing its own people, and even what Calus did with the Crown of Sorrows and the Pack of Scorn." So they said what the Witness did in sacrificing its own people. You can kind of take that a couple of different ways, but it's likely they all willingly joined together. Speaking of those Scorn and Presage, let's talk about them next. Back when Emperor Calus was chasing the darkness, he sought more meaning as well, more luxury and power. Near the edge of Mars after it was consumed in darkness, in space the Glykon Valatus sits. A ship where Calus tried to fuse the minds of Scorn together to speak to the Witness. The locus of communion was the final result.
Calus's surgeons experimented on the Scorn. Cranial dissections, dark ether drownings to engorge them.
Scions carved telepathic imprints into their brains, linked them together in shared consciousness. Their collective mind was then opened through an artifact. Crown. Possession. Did your data mining yield anything about a crown?
Amsad detailed an ornate procession that brought a hive crown from Leviathan to Glykon. It allowed the darkness to invade the Scorn's thoughts.
Not the darkness. The entity.
The two are entwined. Does the difference matter?
That there is a difference makes our understanding of the darkness a facade.
Dialogue from Osiris or Savathun during this mission said this: "Amsad kept notes on experiments as well. It seems that Scorn exposed to the anomaly all suffered contiguous neuron death. It consumed their minds. All but one, who spoke with many dead voices. This survivor would become the centerpiece of their studies." This ship has many more secrets. To achieve this mind connection, they use the Crown of Sorrow. Originally meant to corrupt anyone who wore it and bind them to Savathun, it was now altered to link minds together. This is what they use in the Scorn, the Locus, and how Calus spoke with the Witness. Now you can definitely make connections with what happened here on the Glykon with the Crown of Sorrow and the Egregore, to what happened with Lakshmi, the Ishtar crew, and the Veil, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Another key point though is that Egregore. This was the first time we've seen it in mass and learned more about its capabilities. Egregore can seep its way into the subject's brain, suspending them and leaving them in a state of brain death. Sound familiar? The Egregore connects points of darkness, resonates with pyramid constructs, but it cannot decipher their communications. Still, the Lunar Pyramid, the European Pyramid, and both Glykon and Leviathan all converse with the same distant point. What Ralk spoke to, so does Calus. It is gravely concerning. So Egregore connects points of darkness, resonates with pyramid technology, but Eris can't decipher these communications. They all lead back to the Witness though. Fast forward now to Season of the Haunted. We used the Crown of Sorrow to imprison nightmares within it. It had a different purpose this time, while Calus attempted to form a connection between his Leviathan and the Lunar Pyramid. What he learned from the Glykon, he used in Haunted to become that disciple of the Witness.
If Calus's experiments in communing with the darkness aboard the Glykon was a theory, what we see here and aboard the Leviathan is that theory put into practice.
Calus's loyalists. Egregore spores line their esophagus. They are freshly dead. Empty. I see now. Their lives were forfeit. Spent as a cost to ferry Calus's mind across a vast distance and hasten ingress to the pyramid.
It is no mere curiosity that drew him to the Lunar Pyramid. He is a consciousness that spreads out like a vascular system, and he is attempting to become one with the pyramid so that he may control it, so that he may wield its power. Worse, it appears as though Calus is not doing so of his own volition. He is doing it at the behest of another, our true enemy, the voice in the darkness, the Witness.
Egregore can connect darkness and entities across space. What also has Egregore? The Veil. When Ishtar landed on Neptune, they found the Veil. They studied it for a very long time, built Veil containment, and eventually Neomuna itself. From the containment audio logs, we hear the horror that took place though. At first, whoever touched the Veil, human or exo, instantly died, brain death, much like the subjects back on the Glykon.
Calus's scribe identifies a voice in the darkness. One of their mother, of dead enemies, of Gaul. They say it spoke to Calus in his own voice, taught him how to commune. His counselors work to isolate and contact the entity that speaks.
Maya calls it the Veil. She says she heard the name in a whisper when she looked at it. When I asked her who whispered, she said it was her own voice. I still haven't had time to process that. Everyone on the initial survey team died. The minute they touched the object, they entered a state of brain death. All of them.
Maya continued her twisted experiments and eventually, using a bunch of dead exos, was able to create Lakshmi using a copy of her own consciousness as she sat in the conductor's chair. And remember, they called it a conductor and a choir. As Osiris compares, they were up to the same shenanigans the Witness species was up to, the same thing Calus attempted, albeit on a smaller scale, fusing minds together to both speak to the Witness and maybe become something greater. Mind and consciousness are important when it comes to darkness and even the Veil, ferrying minds and thoughts across great distances, bringing back a place where those memories still exist. Darkness is simply just a power, but thanks to the corruption of the Veil and Witness, subjects like Maya and Calus were consumed by its infection, eventually leading to both of their deaths. We just better hope it doesn't get that deep for our Guardian with our darkness powers. Anyway, that's all we got for today's video. If you'd like to see some more Destiny, lore, and mysteries just like it, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.